Lumion allows us to assign materials to any of those models that we bring into it. In this instance, the Revit model that we brought in had a lot of materials already associated with it, such as the yellow stripe that we saw there in the parking area. It also has green grass going along here. But some of the materials that I don't like include the gray that's behind the lettering here on those panels, as well as the lettering itself that makes up the signage, because right now it's just a gray color. And I'd like a material that's going to light up, so when we do a nighttime scene, we'll have some nice bright letters associated with our model. To begin, we first need to make sure that over here on the left-hand side, that the import option has been selected. It looks like a floppy disk. From there, come down here to the paint can and select on the paint can, which is Edit Materials. Move your mouse over the model. When it highlights green, click once so that Lumion knows you want to make a modification to this model. From here, we're going to click on plus sign, which is Add Materials, and then highlight over this series of gray panels, which is behind the lettering. When it looks like this on the screen, you can click. Now we have the option to assign a material to these gray panels. Right here where it says custom is fine, that's what we want. But I will point out that before I move on, we do have wood materials, brick materials, tile, metal, a wide variety of different materials that we could choose from and apply should we want to use those. In this case, though, there really isn't a material that really works well for this gray or that I really want to use. So as a result of that, I'm just going to apply a color to it. And to do that, I'm going to come here to the roller, which is the color command. And if we select on the color tool, we can now see that this is turned a gray color. And that's because that's the default color that activates when we activate this tool. For this model, I want to have a green-blue color. Down below here, we can see that there's a green color, and then there's a blue color, and they're side by side. So I'm just going to pick a spot kind of in between the green and the blue. Now, this isn't exactly the color that I want, so I have two different options. I can either move over here to the side. In this bar, you can click and hold your mouse button down, and then drag this down to make it darker, or drag it up to make it lighter. Or the other option is, once you have this the right tone, the right shade you like to see it, you can move back over here again, click and hold your mouse button down, and then drag this around, and then highlight over the color that you want to use. You can see as I move around here, we're getting shades of purples and blues and greens and yellows. But what I originally mentioned was I wanted sort of a green-blue color. So that's what I'm going to look for here in the model. Once I get that shade that I like, let go of the mouse button, move over here and click on the check mark. And that's going to finish off that color for the paneling. Now the next thing I want to do is add a material for each one of these signs so that it glows in the nighttime. To do this, I'm going to zoom in so I can see these lettering a little bit better. It's also going to make it a little easier to pick. I'm going to move down here again to the Edit Materials, click there, move up here to where this white dot is, and I'm just going to click to select this model in general. Next, highlight over one of the letters. It doesn't matter which one that you choose. Come down here, click on the Add Materials, and then once again, select on this lettering. Now, we want this to be illuminated. And the option that allows us to do that is this one here that looks like a square with some different colors in it, and it's called Lightmap. If you select on Lightmap, we can see that it now has an ambient light associated with it. And we can click on this bar and drag it back. We can see that as we do that, this gets darker, or we can click on this bar and drag it forward. And as we do, we can see that this light gets brighter. If this ambient is all the way on up, it'll now have a really bright color associated with it, or a really bright white in this case associated with it. Next, move over here to the check mark and click on the check mark to apply that material to it. Now we need to do that process 3 more times for each of these other signs. So once again, make sure that this edit material is highlighted. Click on the dot. Click on the add materials option here. I'm going to move up here. Select on this piece of text. Light map it. And then check mark in the lower right-hand corner. Now these letters are kind of far away, a little harder for me to select. So I'm going to click and hold down the A, move over, and I'm going to now spin the wheel on my mouse to move up. Make sure that this edit materials is highlighted. Click on the white dot, pick the add materials, Pick the lettering, Lightmap, check mark. We're going to do the same thing with store. Make sure that this is highlighted, the edit materials. Click the white dot, click the plus, come up here to the store. We're going to light map it. See, it's now glowing there in the background, and place a check mark. And you can continue this process with anything that's in the Lumion model. Cars that have been placed in the scene, furniture that's been placed in the scene. You can select on the materials, select the object you want to change the materials of, and then tell it what material you'd like to change it to. And then that object will change to that color, that material, or to that light source.